Hello and welcome back. We are here live on the Edmonton Global stage inside the Edmonton Region Hydrogen Hub Pavilion at the Canadian Hydrogen Convention, the largest North American hydrogen convention happening right here in the Edmonton metropolitan region. I'm Margeaux Maron. I'm the Director of Government and Corporate Relations for the Edmonton International Airport. I'm excited to be moderating a discussion today around transformation of the transportation sector with hydrogen. I'm joined today by some esteemed panelists, Farhan Farshori, Chief Operating Officer for Innovative Fuel Systems, and Rebecca Goldsack, the Chief Operating Officer of Diesel Tech Industries. So why the airport and why are we here talking about hydrogen? We are federally regulated to become net zero by 2050, but we've already made commitments to be net zero by 2040, recognizing the challenges of doing that within a vast aviation sector with many different energy sources. We're doing pretty well so far, stepping up to this challenge, and we believe at Edmonton Airports that a wide variety of technologies and uses will be necessary to achieve these bold ambitions. We have some great news in our airport campus. We have a development of a tenant building a very large solar farm, so that's great. We also know that electrification plays an important role in decarbonizing transportation, and we have already started doing retrofits for electrifying some of the ground handling equipment on the air side. But one really exciting addition we made to our airport fleets was hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, adding to the 5,000 vehicle challenge that has been laid out there by Edmonton Global and the Edmonton Region Hydrogen Hub. But dual fuel technologies are really exciting, and they're a low-hanging fruit in terms of adopting lower carbon emission transportation. So Farhan, why don't we start with you? Tell us a little bit about your company and your dual fuel technologies.
Yeah, IFS, Innovative Fuel Systems, is an Edmonton-based clean tech company. We have commercial dual fuel technology that's been implemented both in Canada and in the United States. Some of our customers are actually some of the largest fleets within North America, and we're piloting hydrogen dual fuel with some of the largest fleets in Canada.
Wow, that's really exciting. And Rebecca, what about you?
Yeah, so we are also an Edmonton base, so it's great to have so much Alberta representation here. But we are Diesel Tech Industries, and as of October, we've been around 25 years. So we've been in this business a long time, but our philosophy is driving innovative technology for the transportation industry. So we've taken several technologies from concept to market through our Guardian brand, but specifically on show at this convention is the Guardian Hydrogen Dual Fuel Technology.
So I know a lot of us here at this conference and possibly watching at home really are hydrogen nerds. We know a lot about these things, but please, can you just kind of take us back to basics? What is dual fuel technology and how does it actually work?
Yeah, so what dual fuel technology is, we take an existing engine available on the market today, retrofit it using our multi-port injection system so that it runs on hydrogen and diesel. So it's actually blending. So when that piston's going up and down, we're actually calibrating how much hydrogen's going into the engine. And we've been successful to run on 80% hydrogen, 20% diesel at an idle, and 40 to 50% driving down the highway. So ultimately, we're decarbonizing that existing asset while providing that cost-effective solution for that fleet.
And Farhan, what about for you? How is the technology working for the product that you're selling?
So specifically with hydrogen dual fuel, there's a big market for it because there's millions of heavy-duty vehicles and vehicles within the industry in North America. And even if there is a perfect technology, they are not going to replace their existing vehicles. So dual fuel technology plays a great role, and we're already seeing traction within the industry. Would you like me to talk more about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, what kind of traction are you seeing, and are there certain jurisdictions that are really jumping on this bandwagon?
So specifically with heavy-duty fleet trucks, economics is very important. So they can't simply just replace an existing truck that has value to them. So for that reason, they will take their existing truck and put a dual fuel retrofit technology. And specifically with our technology on natural gas, they're able to save fuel costs. And that is a perfect transition to using hydrogen dual fuel, which they will extend then to reducing greenhouse gas emissions even further.
We see the same thing in the aviation world, where certain assets, like a big snowplow, for example, it has a very long lifespan. So these dual fuel retrofits are, in our eyes, an opportunity to really make good use of that financial investment that happened decade and a half ago, to really see that whole useful life right through to the end. And that's exactly what we have partnered on, Rebecca.
Yes, we have a very exciting partnership with the Edmonton International Airport, where we're partnering on your snowplows. So it's got 2 engines on it. It's 20 feet long, but putting our technology on the snowplows so that they can decarbonize it and ultimately make a huge difference to your GHG impacts.
I know at Edmonton airports, we see the opportunity of vehicles that need to keep on coming back again for the hydrogen refill. Are you seeing other ecosystems where the same need to kind of circle back is really working for those dual fuel retrofits?
Yeah, so what we've seen is when we started going out into the marketplace, we thought Class 8 long haul, that's where we're going after. That has been the farthest from the truth. What we've actually seen is return to home base and such a wide array of applications. We've done the city of Edmonton, both transit and waste. We've done diversified motor coaches, which hauls people up in Fort McMurray and then does charter services. We've got Creative Truck Solutions, which is a fuel hauler. All of these fleets are return to home base every day, so they have that residual needing to fill every day, which is really allowing the entire hydrogen ecosystem to build out, so that we can, if a fleet typically goes Edmonton to, Fort McMurray, and then they end up going to Grand Prairie instead, they don't have hydrogen available to them at that location. You're then just running on diesel. So the big thing that we're seeing with like an EV vehicle is that range anxiety. We have our wonderful winters that are cold. Batteries just don't last in that. So you're actually adding an extra energy source onto the vehicle. So you're actually increasing the range that application would typically be able to do.
Mm-hmm. And Farhan, from your kind of view, why is this working well for your customers then? Like, in what conditions are they really seeing that get to yes sort of investment decision on these retrofits?
So from a high level perspective, there's 2 key markets within the trucking and vehicle industry. There's the primary market where someone buys a new vehicle and they'll use it for maybe 5-6 years, and then they will sell that vehicle. And then there's a secondary market, and those vehicles will be used for 20 years plus years. The nice thing about dual fuel technology, and where we've seen real traction, is that fleets can actually take the technology and move it onto a vehicle if it's retired, and that's a real key play. And so there's a market for various different types of technology, which is the electric truck, fuel cell trucks, but also dual fuel for the primary and secondary markets. And that's where we're seeing a lot of traction, specifically around taking the kit and transferring and moving to different technologies.
Now, you are playing both in dual fuel, diesel, hydrogen, but also diesel natural gas right now. Talk about those opportunities and how they're sort of emerging as the preferential opportunity for different groups.
So within the heavy-duty trucking industry, economics are very important. When they bid on contracts, they are looking at the economics, the price of fuel, and so forth. It's very competitive. So when you're introducing a new technology, it has to be very cost efficient. So a nice way to introduce, for example, dual fuel is to try natural gas first, which can actually get you fuel savings. And from that point on, to further reduce GHG emissions, we can then focus on hydrogen.
So just sort of getting the owners of these assets used to having a dual fuel vehicle and then opening up those doors of potential for hydrogen. So we know that there's obvious benefits to staying on a traditional combustion engine if it's, the payload or being able to haul for longer without that range anxiety. But there's also some added benefits of blending these fuels into these legacy combustion engines that I actually didn't know about until yesterday.
Yeah, so there's more specifically, hydrogen is essentially steam cleaning these engines out. So the biggest issue that Tier 4 engines or anything manufactured after about 2010 is that they have a lot of carbon in the actual engines, and so hydrogen is steam cleaning this out. So it's actually making the engines run more efficiently. And one of the biggest issues that they have is the emission systems. So DPF cleaning, replacing of cans, NOx sensors that are failing. So by actually converting to dual fuel, you're actually saving on the operational maintenance side because you're not having to do all these engine repairs to the emission systems.
And have you seen same types of benefits from your perspective?
So anytime you introduce a cleaner burning gaseous fuel, like even hydrogen or natural gas, you are going to see a cleaner burn, and that will extend the life of the engine, absolutely. And those are great benefits.
So you're set up right through this convention floor. Talk to me about what people are actually seeing with your demonstration vehicles here and what they look like. Like, what does a conversion kit look like on these trucks?
Yeah, so we actually have 3 vehicles in the show. So we've got a Class 8 application, so a semi-truck style. We've got diversified with a motor coach that's got a Volvo D13 in it. And then we've also got, which was unveiled today, the City of Edmonton project that is the transit bus that's also been retrofitted. And everyone can thank me, but we did not bring the garbage truck to here because it would have probably stunk up the entire building. But we've also done the waste truck as well. So on average, as an example, the City of Edmonton unit is running on 72% hydrogen at an idle. Diversified runs on 80% hydrogen at an idle, 40 to 50% driving down the highway. And we've also done emission testing and had a 70% reduction in NOx and CO2s at the tailpipe. So huge emission gains as well.
That is super impressive. And from your perspective, what are people seeing on your products?
This is a great venue for people to really see the technology. And I think it's really important because there's 2 aspects. One is the hydrogen supply aspect of it. The other one is the technology, because you need technology to utilize the hydrogen. So people that are visiting our truck that's here at the show are saying, how does this work? And technology is a really important part of this. Without the technology, it needs to create demand for hydrogen. And so there's a lot of curiosity, and I think that's really important because then people can say, hey, this is available. How do we then introduce this into market, and how do we integrate all this? So I think the show in itself is really good, empowering people, understanding the various technologies that are available.
So I'm going to go a little bit on a different tangent here. Just with the radical collaboration we are seeing happen with decarbonization in Alberta. So whether it's the Pathways Alliance, traditional energy competitors working together the way they are, or other collaborations like the 5,000 Vehicle Challenge from Edmonton Global and the Edmonton Region Hydrogen Hub, we're seeing partnerships and cooperation like never before. And how do you think this 5,000 vehicle promotion is going to really shape the landscape of hydrogen fuel cell and dual fuel hydrogen vehicles in Alberta?
Well, I mean, I see it here. It's partnerships between a whole bunch of different municipalities, carriers, hydrogen supply, manufacturing, just the entire ecosystem. I come to these events and I know a good chunk of people because we're constantly, collaborating and coming together to figure out, okay, this is the problem, let's come up with the solution. And I can't develop my technology without having hydrogen supply. So it's definitely everyone coming together, collaborating to ultimately get to this end goal that we're looking for.
And have you seen any great examples of that cooperation that you just would not have expected 15, 20 years ago?
Yeah, so within our pilot projects for hydrogen dual fuel with some of the biggest fleets in Canada, we are having some challenges on hydrogen supply. The ecosystem here has really stepped up and said, hey, let's talk to them and so forth. So that's really helped us out. And I think having a goal of a 5,000 truck vehicle challenge is really important. And then having the ecosystem support that's really important. So those 2 key things.
So the airport last year, we announced our acquisition of North America's largest fleet of hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles. And we have, of course, our private behind the fence fueling at YEG as well. But just a couple of weeks ago, we saw a very exciting public opening of a hydrogen refueling station at the Blackjack's Roadhouse in Nisku. Shameless plug for Leduc County. We really are doing great things south of the Edmonton region. So What kind of vote of confidence do you see that being in these technologies in this region when we're seeing those private investments hit and open for the transportation sector?
I mean, we definitely have a long way to go, but it's been amazing. You know, I've been at this Canadian Hydrogen Convention. This is my 3rd year now, and it's amazing to see, 3 years ago what hydrogen was to what it is, today. So we have made huge leaps and bounds, but there's still a lot of exciting work that, is done. So we're definitely excited for what's to come.
Yeah, I mean, the hydrogen station is a great first step, but I can tell you there are a lot of startups that want to supply hydrogen. They're creating their business models. They're looking at technologies to create that demand. That is well and present right now here in Alberta. And I think this ecosystem is really helping driving it and connecting all of us together.
So what's your call to action then for any policymakers in the room, any investors in the room? What is it that you need to see to have your products and technologies really proliferate?
Our big key message in this is educate yourself on what options are available, and we need to change the word from net zero to decarbonization. And then on that same token is we need cost-effective hydrogen and a subsidy program, a credit system, in order to get this ecosystem of chicken and egg to the next step.
Yeah, I think it really is, one of the biggest games of chicken and egg that's ever happened before our eyes in our lifetime. So kudos to both of you for playing a role in really getting it rolling. Farhan, in terms of a call to action, how can we collaborate and coordinate better as an ecosystem to see these technologies take off?
I think there's a lot of great moves forward, a pragmatic approach with clear, I would say achievable goals in the next 10 years is really important, whether that's the cost of hydrogen at different increments that people have a pathway to see, hey, this makes economic sense and this is how it fits into my model. But I also think awareness on technologies is very important. Shows like this, Edmonton Global, getting the word out and so forth is really important as well.
So for any folks that are really new to these technologies, Rebecca, what are the biggest questions that you're getting from investors with respect to dual fuel systems that may dispel maybe some myths that might be held in this room?
Oh, geez, that's a good question. I guess one of the big things that we are hearing is, where can I get hydrogen from? Mm-hmm. And the nice thing about dual fuel technology, I should also plug too, you only need industrial grade hydrogen, not fuel cell grade. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot easier to come by and it's a lot more cost effective than fuel cell grade hydrogen. So that's a lot of what our questions are, is where do we get hydrogen today? And there is hydrogen in Alberta today. Mm-hmm.
Yep. With respect to investors specifically asking us, it's really about the economics of the technology, because ultimately if you want to sell a technology at scale, there has to be a market. There is definitely a market, but there has to be economics around that, and we need to get more clarity around that. With respect to IFS, we are having natural gas dual fuel system that has economics, and we want to springboard and use that with our commercial contracts to move into hydrogen dual fuel on a commercial scale.
Mm-hmm. I think the dual fuel technology is that low-hanging fruit of material decarbonization right now, instead of waiting for different technologies to mature to a point where they're ready, for example, for electrified heavy haul, long distance kind of stuff, right? So very exciting work that you're both doing. I think you both embrace the all of the above mentality and saying that there's different technologies that work in different applications, and this is one that works right now today. Any last comments? You got about 10 seconds each.
No, just come check out the technology and learn some more.
I would say knowledge is power. Mm-hmm. Learn as much as you can. There's two aspects. There's the supply of hydrogen, and there's a technology that's going to create the demand. And check out the technology. There's a lot around at this event.
Awesome. Well, it is so great to be here. It's great to share the story from Edmonton International Airport about our commitments to fostering an ecosystem of hydrogen adoption. This brings us to the end of this session, so thank you so much, Rebecca and
Thanks
Farhan.
For having me.
Really appreciate you. We'll be back at this stage in just a few minutes at the Edmonton Global stage with another great conversation around heat and power for communities, integrating hydrogen, of course. That's up at 2:35 p.m. Mountain Time.